I'm going to put on the left turn signal here. There's something I wanted to bring up, and it's had to do with my health over the last 7 years, because there are moments on this show when I have had memory loss, and I'll tell you what it's due to. But there are times when I feel like my mind and my mouth are not working together. And I think you've come to expect me to perform at a high level. And I was just going to pull the curtain back because I don't know where I'm headed over the next 5 months. I've been going through treatments here for what I have is called polymyalgia rheumatica. I've had it for 7 years. It's intense joint pain. And if anybody's ever had this, then you'll understand. It's like having the flu and you're not nauseous. And I would have this every day. I woke up one Saturday morning and I couldn't tie my shoes. I couldn't walk. And it was joint pain, both hands, both shoulders, both elbows, both hips, both knees. Even a tooth I had replaced. I could feel pain every single morning. And get out of bed, I hated getting out of bed. And there were times when I just said, I don't know what I have. And they don't even know how to treat it. They don't even know how I got it. And then they gave me prednisone. And prednisone is wonderful, but it's horrible. And I took prednisone, and it took away all this joint pain. There were times I'd come into the man cave, all of these toys that we had, shoot basketball, you could play golf. I didn't want to do any of it. It hurt. I took this prednisone. It got rid of all of this. But the prednisone is a horrible drug. And with prednisone, I was depressed. I had suicidal thoughts. I was emotional. I'd cry for no reason, the smallest things. And I kept thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. And there were times when I debated whether it's going to continue to do this show. And the reason why I bring this up is I'm lucky that I found this hospital for special surgery in New York. And they said, look, they're doing different things because my immune system was attacking my immune system. I mean, it was like you think Game of Thrones is a great battle. This was going on in my body, and I didn't want to take prednisone anymore. And they said, well, they're doing light chemo IVs. And I go, oh, my God. I don't hear the light part. I hear the chemo part. And all of a sudden, I go once a month, and they're putting an IV in me, and I sit there for an hour. And I'm one of the lucky ones. There are people there for hours with this. And it's called Actemra. And it's got side effects. And side effects are headaches every day and memory loss. I have brain fog is what it is. And there are times when I don't finish sentences. Paulie, thankfully, is always on alert where I couldn't remember Albert Pujols' name last week. Couldn't for the life of me during the show. I had a dinner with my wife and my daughter last month. And I text her the next day because I didn't remember dinner. And she thought I was kidding. I said, what did we have for dinner? And she said, you had 2 helpings. To this day, I don't remember having dinner. 2 weeks ago, I went to the store to buy one thing. I'm the one that was going to buy it. I got there. I walked around 30 minutes. I was going for salad dressing. I came home with olives. I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't start my car some days. I didn't know how to do it. So that's what I want you to know, that there are these moments that there's a mental pause that's hit, a button. And the Danettes have been great. They've helped through it, understanding it. But this IV, the first 4 trips didn't do anything. And then the 5th one, it started to take away all this inflammation. Thankfully, it's taking away all the inflammation. I have to do 5 more treatments, so I have to go till September. And there are days that aren't good, but you know what? They're a whole lot better than they were before. But there were times when I would just brain freeze. I couldn't think of something, and you're live on the air for 3 hours, and it's radio and it's TV. So my thanks to you guys, certainly you, Paulie, because there are times he has to think, he has to be my Belichick if I am allowed to be Tom Brady for, a reference here, because I forget. There are times when I go to break and I tease something and I forget what I'm teasing. And Paulie go, remember, you're going to bring up Bryce Harper. Okay. All right. But man, talk about a long, 7 years of doing this. But it's light chemo. Thank God I don't get nauseous. And, I love needles. So I go in there and I get stabbed once a month, and I got 5 more treatments. But it was a real scare.
I remember about 6, 7 months ago, you came up and said that one of the treatments is chemo. And I had the same thing that you did. When you hear that word, you think something much more drastic, I guess I'd say, or lack of a better word. And you even said that this won't even help me they told you it wouldn't help for 3 or 4 or 5 treatments, right?
Well, it's supposed to be for rheumatoid arthritis. And I thought I was dying. Like I felt like I was 90 years of age. Even in the old man cave, I had to climb up those steps, and it was just labor. It was just difficult. And then in the last, 5 years, I've played golf about 10 times at the most. And one of those was my 60th birthday at Pebble Beach, where I invited my brothers and some friends. I had to take Vicodin to play. I had Vicodin left over from my knee surgery. I didn't even use it for my knee surgery, but I was in so much pain. I used Vicodin just so I could play golf. I would medicate myself at night drinking. Not proud.
A couple months ago, I didn't want to say anything, but I noticed you maybe 3 or 4 months ago complaining less about the joint stuff. And I was like really excited about it, but I wanted to say nothing because I don't like being a jinx. But I remember last summer and fall, you were walking in and you had to take a while to get stretched out and get healthy in the morning and get loose in the morning. But then maybe, I guess, February, I noticed that you weren't talking about it anymore, which I thought was a good thing.
Yeah. But I didn't want to jinx myself. But you're right. It took 4 treatments, and then the 5th one, all of a sudden I said, okay, it's starting to go away. And it's like when somebody says you're cancer-free. They hate saying they're cancer-free because there's always that risk of it coming back. To a lesser degree, you're going, I think it's subsiding here. But then you would have these headaches, and then my memory loss was bad. And, it got to the point now where my kids say, hey, Dad, you know what we had for dinner last night? Now they joke with me. But, it was scary. It's a scary moment. But there were moments on the show where I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot my place. And, I had to say it. Yeah, Paul.
Even though it's apples and oranges, it reminds me of a couple of years ago when we had Jim McMahon on, and he was having the headaches and the bad stuff was going on. He thought it was head injuries. And the doctor said, you have like spinal fluid building up on the base of your skull. And they tapped it, and he goes, in a half an hour, I felt 15 years younger and better. I know it's apples and oranges, but it's similar. Yeah,
but if you're on prednisone, I know that feeling. And boy, I couldn't wait to get off prednisone. I'd never been moodier. That was bad. But hey, light chemo is not as bad as you think, I guess, considering if these are the side effects I have for the next 5 months. I hope the Danettes can deal with my headaches and my moodiness, and you can deal with my brain fog. They actually tell you have brain fog. I never heard of it before, but it's just you can't think clearly. I mean, I can always think that Fritzy is whining and moaning. Like that never leaves me.
Again,
that
cuts through somehow. That cuts right through the brain fog.
Yeah, like yesterday. Even though I might have had memory loss or brain fog, I could still remember what you said to me and how mean-spirited you were to me yesterday.
That cut right through.
Yeah, it did.
I think I called you immature early in the show.
You did. But I remember.
And plus, I reminded you of the mean-spirited things just in case.
Yeah. But that's it. I've been holding a secret. And so we move forward in 5 more months of this, hopefully. And then they said I'll be done with these treatments. And boy, I'll be a joy to be around then, won't I?
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.